Let's just get right to it. Just tell me why you and other members of the Council of State wrote that letter today.
Well, Colin, we've been asking for meetings for a long time. We've been sort of doing it unofficially at Council of State meetings, saying, when are we going to get together? When are we going to be able to hear what their plan is based on what information, these kinds of things. I think it's just a valuable thing to do. You have duly elected members of the Council of State who represent the same people that the governor represents. And you have a bunch of bright minds on there with what I believe are good ideas. And why would you not want more ideas when you're trying to solve a pandemic? I mean, in the business world, you pull together as many bright minds as you can to try to come up with a solution. And it seems to me that the governor is sitting around in somewhat of an echo chamber and listening to the same people over and over again. But there's a lot of what we believe information that hasn't been out there, a lot of information that can help inform these decisions that the governor should be presenting to people, and it just hasn't happened yet. So we think that we should be able to sit down and ask questions. I think it would be very cordial and very nonpartisan. Facts and data and science is what everybody talks about. Let's get it all on the table and figure out what's driving these scenarios here.
The governor is asked almost daily when he has his press conferences about, could we speed up? He was asked again today, could we get to phase 2 more quickly? And he said, likely not. I'm listening to the science. We're going by the science. How do you respond to what he keeps saying?
Well, I think the people of North Carolina need to be able to understand what the goalposts are that we're aiming at here. The goalposts have changed. We started off by saying we needed to flatten the curve so that we didn't overwhelm the healthcare system, so that we didn't overwhelm the ICU units, so that we didn't overwhelm the available ventilators, and so on and so forth. And our curve in North Carolina really has been flat all along. The number of cases for COVID-19 will continue to rise as long as there's no vaccine. It'll go on forever as long as there's no vaccine, and we're counting new cases. But the information that's been out there has not been complete. We've asked many times, it's even written into legislation now in the last bill, that the governor is supposed to provide certain pieces of information, like how many people have recovered in each county by county. What are the actual ages of people that have died from this virus? How many of them actually had pre-existing conditions? Because we believe that the vast majority of them had pre-existing conditions, not just here, but all over the world. That's kind of the case. So what's the daily information that we know? Where are we today? Not just how many cases have we had. If we have 15,000 cases now, but 10,000 of them recovered, we really have 5,000 cases right now. And then how many of those people are asymptomatic, right? I mean, all these kinds of things are really basic questions that help inform how you open up and when you open up and how you do that on a county by county level. Which counties have no cases, active cases at all anymore? Should they continue on lockdown? There's plenty of data out there around the world that suggests there's not any difference in the countries that have kept people on lockdown and those that have let people get immune through herd immunity and those types of things. So Governor Cuomo's even said, Colin, that the people that are getting sick in New York now are the ones that have been locked in their homes. So, I mean, there's lots of things. There is no necessary right and wrong right now. There's two sides of this situation. There are the people that have had the virus, the people who can potentially get the virus. That's real. And we should have empathy for that. And there are the people that have lost their jobs and lost their businesses and aren't able to make their livelihood right now. We should have empathy for that as well. And we can do two things at once, as I've said all along. We can protect people's lives, protect the most vulnerable, and at the same time, we can protect livelihoods and get the healthy folks back to work and provide a way for those that are vulnerable to still be able to participate.
What is, in simple terms, what is a way to reopen safely?
Well, first, I think you have to trust the people of North Carolina. I don't think that the government has all the answers. I think the people of our state take this very seriously. So the first thing you do is protect the most vulnerable. We know that the majority of the deaths are happening in congregate living facilities, nursing homes primarily. And so protect the nursing homes like the Georgia or the Florida governor did. Made that his #1 priority. He said they're going to screen everybody every day that comes in and out of a nursing home. They're going to test their patients regularly. They're not going to repopulate their nursing homes with people that have gone to a hospital with coronavirus and come back into that facility. All these kind of things are real basic. That's where the issue is. That's where the big issue is. So protect that. Make sure you have a pathway for people that are elderly and have some kind of compromised immune system to be able to participate in society. So like a lot of grocery stores and retail outlets are doing, open up early in the morning for people to go be able to get their groceries without having to come in contact with other people, those kind of things. That's real basic, and other states are doing that. So when our governor says the science and the data, we have states opening up all around us with the same science and data. Does this mean that you're not going to have another case of coronavirus, or does it mean that the cases won't spike? No, you don't know that, but we can do two things at once. We can protect the vulnerable, and we can allow people to get back to their livelihoods again. So I think that's the path that you take. You can go to the counties that have no cases, the counties that have had no deaths. You can go, you can let them open up now. They should be able to open, just like as the states around us are doing.
What do you feel like the governor's reasoning is right now? Do you feel he's being overly cautious, or do you feel like he's trying to purposely damage the economy, in your opinion?
Well, he's the governor. I don't think he wants to purposely damage the economy. I think he's just being overly cautious. Yeah, I mean, science and data change. Remember when we started this and flattening the curve, the folks in London were telling us that 2.5 million Americans were going to die. Everybody was pretty scared about that, including our president. I mean, people took drastic actions, and I think the people of North Carolina were saying, hey, you know what, we're willing to do anything to help our neighbors and to help our families and protect people. And then that 2.5 million went to 1 million, then 500,000, and then the numbers kept going down and down and down. Well, which science are we looking at now, right? I mean, they can all claim that it's because of a lockdown that the number dropped, but the number was dropping before people were even making their stay-at-home orders. So I don't think that that's genuine. I think that's a bit disingenuous to say that. So I think that you need to look at the real data that's in front of you. Make the best decisions you can. Like I said, everybody knows there's no excellent right decision here, but we do know there's two sides of this. And there's tragedy on the virus side of things, and there's tragedy on the livelihood side of things with the economy. So what people will say is, if you want to open up the economy, you must want people to die. I mean, that's ludicrous. Nobody wants anybody to die. We all want to protect life, you know, but at the same time, there are people that die from heart disease in America every day. Lots of them, about 500,000 of them a year. There's people that die of cancer. There's people that die of car wrecks. Nobody wants any of that to happen. Nobody wants anybody to die of coronavirus, but we also don't want people to die of suicide and depression and anxiety and domestic abuse. And we don't want people to become addicted to drugs and alcohol and all the things that are happening right now behind the scenes. That has a tragic side to it too. Don't ignore that. So, you know, when people say you must want people to die because you care more about profits. No, I care about the low income and working class Americans who have lost their jobs. When you look at the 1.1 million North Carolinians that have lost their jobs, that's who it is. You know, the wealthy people are going to be okay. Most of them will come through this and they'll be okay. They're hurting, sure. But the middle class and the low income workers, they're the ones that are going to be really struggling through this if we don't get the economy going again. So all these things can happen at once. And the reason for the letter was, hey, let's get voices around the table. Our voices have never been heard in this. And for people to say your voice doesn't matter, and if you ask a question that somehow that's partisan politics, I think is pretty shameful.
Lieutenant Governor, anything else you want to add? Because you answered my questions.
No, I think that's it, Colin, other than just to say that, you know, I really do believe the people of North Carolina have made great sacrifices. And I think they've done a really great job of paying attention and trying to keep safe distance from people. And these small businesses have the ability to open up again now, and that's great. And they're going to do a great job with that. I think, again, have faith in the people of North Carolina, not just faith in the government. The people can protect and take care of themselves and their neighbors at the same time. So I think that's the path we need to be on.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you again for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Colin, thank you. Have a great day.